Hi, everyone. I am LaurieAnn. I am that gal from Milton, Ontario, Canada, and I am with.
I am that guy. I am Roy Miller from Dallas, Texas. We'd like to welcome you to our Lift Your Story podcast.
So, on this episode, we're very pleased to have Amy Grussing, and she's known as the Stress Buster. She's going to tell us more about that. Thanks for being here, Amy.
Thank you both, LaurieAnn and Roy. Super excited to be here. Yeah, I'm Amy Grussing, as you mentioned. I am known as a stress buster because I have let stress cause so much pain in my life. And so I ended up really sick. 2.5 years ago, I spent 6 weeks straight on the couch because I did not know how to manage stress. And so that stress caused so much pain. And so I want to help people. And I do that with essential oils, help them be able to manage their pain.
That's interesting because I've heard of essential oils. I don't really know that much about them. So can you kind of explain that for everybody that's listening?
Yeah, a great way to explain them is you can think about the immune system of the plant. So an essential oil is basically is like the immune system of the plant. So what it does for a plant, we're both all carbon based. So how it helps the plant is how it helps you. So as far as at a cellular level, really getting to the root cause and helping strengthen the body.
Okay. Now I've heard that, is it lavender, I think, is to help you sleep?
Yeah, it's one of the it's really a really wonderful way to help get to sleep. I find with a lot of different people, it depends on what's causing their sleep issues. If they have a hard time falling asleep at night or whether they wake up in the middle of the night. So there can be different reasons, but that's a great one to start with. I like to liken essential oils to a medicine. It's not one size fits all. So try it out, see if it works for your body and yours. I can give an example. I'm part of the Forbes Riley Inner Circle, which is how I came across and met LaurieAnn. And last night we had 3.5 hours of training. And so after that, my mind was racing. And so for me, the lavender, it was helpful and calming, but I needed more. I needed to help my mind just slow down and calm down. So part of that, I like to stretch and do a little bit of like yoga type exercises. But then what I used is copaiba, which is another essential oil. And the whole point of that was to help my mind stop racing and to slow my nervous system down.
I heard
think a lot of people. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, I heard as well, one of the big things too is depression and anxiety that essential oils can really help with. And with these days and what we're going through, I think that is essential. So
yes, I've struggled with both of those. I've had a lifetime of anxiety. The way I grew up was in fight or flight. I had a single mom that was working 3 or 4 jobs. And so we were left alone quite a bit. And she did the best. She absolutely did the best she could. But what happened was I grew up in like a fight or flight mode. So not feeling safe. And what happens is that pumps out cortisol. So if you have a bear chasing after you, you want the cortisol to pump out because you want to be completely focused and get away and get safe. But what happens is when you live in fear, like an underlying anxiety, your body pumps that out. And so what I found out, as I mentioned earlier, that 2.5 years ago, I found myself really sick and I had been working through things. But what happened is I didn't realize I didn't know what I didn't know. And my body had produced so much cortisol that basically it just completely gets your gut out of balance. And what happens is that's where you can get depression because 70% of your serotonin and your immune system is in your gut.
Wow.
Yeah, I know gut health is really important, but you were saying about how your mind races, when you go, and I know, especially when I was still working, I was like that because I got this, tomorrow I'm going to do this, and you go to bed and you're just going 90 to nothing, and I did have trouble falling asleep, but I have sleep apnea. So, I do wake up all during the night, so tossing and turning,
There's definitely a couple of things that can help you. We have a blend called Breathe Oil, and it helps open up the lungs. So of course, I never, ever recommend it's not about medication, or this doesn't interfere with any type of medication that you might be on. It's just a natural supplement that's safe and it's effective. And so the Breathe Oil can help open your lungs and open your sinus so that when you are sleeping, you're going to get as much oxygen as possible. I do know they have sleep apnea machines that you can actually put essential oils in. And I do have to mention that I can only recommend the doTERRA essential oils because of their purification. They are the only ones that are certified pure therapeutic grade. So they go through rigorous testing. So actually some of ours you can actually take internally as a supplement.
Oh, really? Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know
So I would imagine as well, like I have TMJ, temporomandibular joint dysfunction. For people who don't know what that is, it's a dislocated jaw from an accident when I was younger. I grind my teeth partially because of that, because of the stress. And with that, I also have tinnitus, which are all fun things to have, although I've learned to deal with them. It was like since I was 22, right? But there are times where that stress does come into here. And I've heard that essential oils and placing it on certain spots will actually also eliminate the more the pain, the more you tense, the worse the pain, right? It just tends to be that horrible circle. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, we can definitely help you with that because I actually also suffered from, I didn't have surgery or anything like that, but I ground my teeth so bad that I remember calling a nurse and she said, get into ER right away. I mean, the symptoms that I were having, and I actually explained it as I felt like just the worst headache, like I was on a railroad car and it was horrible. And so I actually slept so sound that I didn't wake myself up from the grinding. I don't know if you wake yourself up. Do you?
I very rarely do but now I wear a mouth guard all the time, obviously. So it's a little bit better, but still to that point, because your jaw has the strongest,
Right.
as far as chewing, it's amazing what they say about the jaw and the strength of it. And so I'll wake up like this morning. In fact, I must have been grinding my teeth last night because it's just like all in this area and it hurts. And you're going, something made me grind my teeth last night, but it won't always wake me up.
Yeah, so I would definitely help you and work with you to we have a couple of different things. Like I said, that it's great to try some different ones, but I actually do a combo of things. So the shoulders, like you mentioned, we have something that's called Deep Blue that really works into relaxing the inflammation too. And so I do, so because the doTERRA is being pure, you can use it 3 different ways. So internally, topically, and diffuse it so it's aromatic. So when I'm working with something like that, I specifically use it all 3 ways. So like I would recommend for you, if you like lavender, it's great to have as a tea before you go to bed. And I was going to mention this too when we talk about that stress and that because I know exactly what you mean. It's like I wound up tight. And so when you breathe, it's a great, I'll show you. I have one oil here. This is called Balance. This one is our grounding blend. But I put it right in my hands, rub my hands together, and then just remind myself to take some super deep breaths. And I was taught by actually a hypnotherapist to breathe in 5 seconds and then breathe out as long as you can. And then breathe in and count, so I do that with the oils and breathe in and it's amazing each time you can breathe out more. And as you breathe out more, you actually bring in more oxygen. So the oil goes directly in your olfactory nerve, and why they're so powerful is the fastest way to your brain is your olfactory nerve, which is through your nose. So that's the fastest way to get to your brain. So literally within 20 seconds, it'll calm. So I would suggest you doing that, but then also to have the diffuser. So I sleep with a diffuser, and I have one right here. But basically it's gonna put a mist out, and I know it's a little bit hard to see, but it has a mist so it continually can flow as you're sleeping, so that your your body is still relaxing. And then of course, like I mentioned, topical. So I actually, because of your jaws, I would actually recommend, especially Deep Blue, that we do have something called copaiba as well. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of CBD oil.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so doTERRA will not produce the CBD oil because it's actually not an essential oil. And because of the purity and the price, there's four P's: the purity, the price, the pathway, that it's not, and it's not gonna, you're gonna need a lot more of it, and it's not as a direct path. So we have something called copaiba that has even more beta caryophyllene. And so what I like to do for people is teach them how to make roller balls so that you can put it on topically. So a roller ball, and it's a little bit hard to see, but it's a great way that you can mix up. So I take the roller ball and I put it on my shoulders, and then you can actually put it right on your cheeks. And that copaiba is actually really good for nerves, because I'm sure that's what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Is some nerve pain. Yeah. And that's what when I was on the couch for 6 weeks straight, my body broke down. Well, I had to have an autoimmune that I'm healing from. So I had chronic pain, severe acute pain. I had sciatica, which is all nerve pain.
Yeah.
So it shot down. I couldn't drive and I could barely walk. So taking different oils internally can help get to the root cause of that inflammation and help it heal internally, but then also topically, as one doctor said, it's like topical ibuprofen, and it'll help the inflammation.
Yeah. No, healthy.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I did have, at the same time as my accident, I did have, I'm so happy. Here I am 58 years old and I feel better than I did when I was 22. I'm thinking there's most people say it's the other way around, but I've been feeling better and healthier as I'm getting older, because at 22 I had sciatica. My TMJ was so bad that my whole side of my head was numb. It's not anymore. It only disturbs me if I'm in stress, and then, it can, but it's not nearly as often. So yes, I've actually felt better as I got older. But that is, you're right, like rubbing stuff on the jaw would definitely be, and sciatica is awful. It's awful when it runs down the leg. I had that too. I could barely walk. I was stuck on a couch too. And when you do have that, don't sit on a couch, because it's not the best thing for sciatica, trust me.
No, I could only lay flat or stand. No sitting was allowed.
And no,
Really?
really, you need to have a really firm sort of, because if you have a really soft mattress, I found anyway, when I had the sciatica, if I was on something soft, it just got worse. And it took years. Like, I'm fine now, but it took quite a few years to heal. And I'd be fine on my mattress and I'd go and stay at a hotel room, and the next morning it was like, so yeah, mattresses do make a difference as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that with
well,
the essential oils.
I know my mom is having issues. She has trouble. She's had shots. And as a matter of fact, she's considering hip replacement. The doctor told her that the shots aren't working for her, that he would recommend just go ahead and doing a hip replacement, and she'd probably be fine after that.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if this might be something she could do,
Right. I mean, and I'm one of those that I will go to a doctor if I absolutely need to, but if I can try something natural first, that can help get, and really that's hopefully the goal is to get to because the body is created to heal itself if it's given the right things. And as I started out talking about the stress buster, the way, because I didn't know how to manage stress, it was eating away at me. And so all the physical ailments came as a result. So as I was able to work through the anxiety or the stress and be able to, as LaurieAnn was saying, be able to calm and help the mind relax and work on all these other things that were causing more pain, the body can heal itself. So it's pretty amazing.
I really liked what you were saying about, putting the oil, doing this, and within, 20 seconds, you can feel that. I think that's super important, particularly today, because I know that people go, well, meditate. I'm really bad at it. Okay, before I go to bed, I have this wonderful voice that puts me to sleep every night. People laugh at me because it's a male voice and I know the guy, but I go to bed with him every night. But it's not every night, but it definitely makes a difference. But during the day, I don't want to sit there and do this, besides which my mind's still going to be thinking about everything and anything. I find the breathing does help, and it's 20 seconds. And that 20 seconds matters. You don't have to do 2, 3, 10, 15 minutes. That even in itself matters. And I think people really have to understand that. Don't feel bad if you're not meditating, but do find something. I do breathing. That's very important to me, but it's not going to take me the time to go sit on a mat and do this and have to do whatever. So, because I don't always have time, and sometimes I don't even want to, like exercise, right? So,
Right. Absolutely. And that's why I like to keep, like I said, the roller balls, because I'll even roll those right on my hands as well.
Yep.
And then I suggest people to put it on like a T behind on their neck, because that's where all your nerves go through your spine. That's a really great place just to, and then on the wrist. So you smell them and they go through go through your thing. And you're right. 20 seconds. It's amazing when you just sit down, just become totally present. Because I spent a lot of my life worrying about the future and having regrets of the past and thinking about the past. But when you're completely present, that to me is, it's like, how did it take me this long to figure this out?
oh, I know. I used to say that to my daughter. She's actually come a lot further than me. And she's 30 years younger than me. And I'm going, I wish I knew as much as you do when I was your age. But the fun thing is that, like I said, this year in particular, I found it, I'm joking around. I was telling Roy, I put a Christmas tree up for the first time in 13 years. Why? Because I was holding on to something and the pain of the past, and I wasn't in the present. And this year, I'm so excited. I feel the spirit. I feel, and there's a lot of things. I've been putting things away that I was, holding on to from the past. And there's certain things okay to have from the past. I have pictures of my ex-husband with my kids. So that's my family. But when you're holding on to other things that might be too sentimental, it's not worth it. Just keep going forward. And I don't worry about the futures. I figure in my particular case, God's going to take care of it because I have faith. Not to say I'm just going to sit there on the couch and go, okay, do what you got to do. But as long as I'm working, I know it will come back to me. And if I sit there and worry about it too much, it's never going to happen. I believe. Worry about it, odds are it's not going to happen.
I completely align with what you're saying.
Well, like for me, I had a real crappy childhood, but I was able to kind of put that in a box and set it aside. But if I open that box, I can get into a rage real fast.
Yep.
So can I give you a couple hints?
Sure.
One of the best things that I also had pretty tough childhood. And when you have those feelings, it's kind of telling you something, because there's one of the best books that I've read is called Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die. And I can tie this to the essential oils, because the essential oils have helped me be able to release those negative emotions. And if you're still, like, I could tell you stories, and 2 years ago, before I really worked through my letting go, I could get, like you said, the rage would come up. And now I've learned to be able to say, well, we have one oil that's actually called Forgive. I love it. I put it on my heart. And then one of the best things I tell everybody is, if you can journal, and you don't have to write my husband does not like to journal. You don't have to write stories and stories, but even just bullet points. And there's letters I've written to people that they should never, ever read. So
don't send them like I do.
So in fact, I've ripped them up. But the point is, instead of me holding them, and Roy, I love how you put them in a box. But what I say is even better if that box can be open and just freed and gone, so that you put it in the box, maybe you rip it up and then you throw it away. So the box can be a place that you can put some other ones as they come up, and then you can let those go. It's definitely a process.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was younger, it was a lot harder. Yeah. But when I got married, I told my wife I need to, get away from this. And if you see me heading this direction, let me know. And there was a couple of times she said, hey, you know, you're starting to kind of get like your dad. And so I'd say, okay. So I would kind of, you know, so I didn't perpetuate what I grew up in, basically is what I'm saying. So
Good for you. You learned from it.
yeah. So
That's actually interesting too. Sorry, Roy.
my
Go ahead.
brother didn't. My brother didn't.
Oh,
Mm.
So he had his kids were different than mine. So, but anyway.
That's where we say, I actually, one of the things I haven't shared is that I've spent the last 22 years I've been sober. So I haven't had a drink in 22 years. But one of the things that we say is somebody will say, well, of course I drink because my mom drank. And then the sibling will say, well, of course I don't drink because my mom drank.
yeah.
So it's all.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. It's fun that you were saying about the box. One of the things that my meditation that puts me to sleep, it says, put it in a bubble and send it off into the nice big blue sky, far, far away. And you envision it. And it's so much fun. You put like it's in a bubble, like all the things that bother you are in this like bubble. And I look at it like a balloon that's going to pop somewhere far away from me. And I won't have to worry about it. But yeah, it just envisioning it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
One of the other things I like to do that helps me fall asleep is write down at least 3 gratitudes.
Yes.
And that helps me really stay in the present and to let go of worries or let go of regrets in the past and really just back to the present. And it's amazing when I go to bed that way, then I wake up a different way as well.
Well, what would you suggest? Say if someone came to you, typically, you know, they say, well, I can't sleep, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. You know, how do you work with them?
Great question. Thanks, Roy. So really what I like to help people is find one of the best ways to start is our kits, because then you have the top 10 oils and then you can try different ones. So we have either small bottles or the larger bottles. And so most of my customers start that way because they're going to get lavender, they're going to get peppermint, which is a really great one, balance. And so they're going to get a combination of our most popular oils, and then they can try them and they can try the different ones and see which one works best for them. And then, like I mentioned, the roller balls, so they can use them the different ways. They can make combinations. And I really want to get them plugged into education. And so there's different, that's what I want to offer your customers here at the end too, is free ebooks on essential oils and how they can make different recipes, and getting them really to understand that once they have those top 10 oils, they basically can cover anything in their medicine cabinet. So it's really it's a cost-effective way, because if you have a headache or you have pain, or maybe you have an upset stomach from eating too much turkey like I did last week, or you want to help reduce anxious feelings, or we have in that top 10 kit is to help boost the immune system. So all of those things can be covered in that top 10 oils. So it's a great way to have a natural, safe, and it really is cost-effective way to get started.
And I would imagine that sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and I can imagine that they can contact you and consult with you while that's going on, to be able to get some guidance. I know that you said there's ebooks, but sometimes, you want to go to somebody who's an expert to be able to say, hey, this is exactly what I have. Can you just save me the time? So I'd imagine that you're there for them to do that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have one of the great places that we connect our wholesale customers is through our private Facebook group, because then they can just search, they could search up sciatica or an ailment or anxiety or different things, that in this private group, they can find out testimonials, what other people have tried. Because every oil has, like I was talking about peppermint, that can help your tummy, it can help pain, and it can help headaches. So you might want to just know what is peppermint. And if you go to certain website, the ebooks and different things, they're going to give you in general different ways to use it. But sometimes it's just nice to hear specific personal testimonials of how it worked for other people. So
Okay.
that's a great way great question and a great way. And and also what I do for my customers too is after they get their oils, I have a consultation with them so that once their oils are there, we'll sit together and we'll do a Zoom or a FaceTime and go through what they got and their specific questions and get them started.
Excellent.
How can our people reach out to you?
Well, a great way is to find me on Facebook. It's Amy Grussing, Oils to Life. And another place is my website. And actually, that's a great place to register to get that free ebook. It's Amy Grussing. So AMYGRUSSING.now, NOW.site, SITE.
Okay, good.
Perfect. Thank you. That's been wonderful.
It was really a pleasure to meet you, Amy, and thanks for coming on. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me.
Okay.
All right.
We hope you have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.